We are watching a Canes match this time. I know we have more focus on the Walkers side, but we are doing a Canes match, a bit of a recast. My name is Sparked Out, I've been here before. We also have the T-Pity1 as my co-cast. You've seen him before as well. And we've got Wolfie on the sticks. Now, this is going to be Odin's Headhunters versus Vibe Tribe in the Cane. And Vibe Tribe had a very dominant week last week, and this week they're going for a little bit of a more interesting opponent. Headhunters didn't have the best of times last week, so this is going to be a bit of a cheeky matchup going into it. And as we go into it, we are going to see a lot of the meta bans come out, which is what we expect from Kane. Do you want to talk us through them, T-Pity?
Yeah, I mean, you see pretty common bans. The Chernobog's always a top three priority, it seems, as well as getting rid of Alpwatch and Raijin out of the solo or mid lane, if you want to play him there, as well as Maman, who just recently got allowed to use in competitive play. So all pretty normal as far as we see. Ganesha, who's been seeing a lot of use as well. Yeah, a lot of teams just don't really want to be facing these mage solos anymore, and so that's a very big priority in the top three bands. And you also see Athena go last, which are pretty regarded as two of the two top supports, two very annoying solo laners to play against in a top ADC band. So pretty
Yeah,
normal stuff so far.
I mean, Ryze is one of those characters that can be played in either solo or mid, depending on the flavor of the month right now. Not when you see a lot of, there are still a lot of other good options available for mage solos. You know, they still got a Morgan and Faye available, but it looks like the Vibe Tribe are going to be taking an Anubis. They're only halving it, so they could go for something else, knowing that there is going to be some other options. But yeah, the Athena definitely one of the top supports right now, but Ganesh is not necessarily the top support, but has always been performing well just because of his ease of use. Regardless of what team comp he's in, he always performs well just because of that silence. And is just generally tanky than Nox, which does the same thing. So it's always going to have a lot of value, but doesn't necessarily mean one of the better supports. There are a few options like, you know, the Ares, the Atlas, even the Maui's doing pretty well right now. A lot of different options available to them. You know, Chernobog's still available. You got Danza, who's still available for the ADC lane later on. You also have a lot of the magical ADCs, but looks like we're going to top pick the Anher for the ADC pick for Vibe Drive.
Yeah, the Anhur is very good early on, very good for that early pressure. I was a kind of not really a first pick in my personal opinion, but if that's what your ADC Cinnalon's going to be comfortable on, then go ahead and get that out of the way. Kind of see what the other team's feeling before you go for your other picks. I don't hate the on her first.
It's definitely a questionable choice to go for Anher this early on. This is definitely more of like a run back character, and there are other ADCs that go into Anher quite well, but Anher is a great aggressive character, does a lot with disperse impale combos, has a lot of pressure in lane, and does pretty good into a lot of other counter picks. But with characters like Danza still available, but also just other roles that can still be filled, like the Morgan the Fae, if that is um an ages too late special, a Kaio special for the Vibe Tribe, that could have been something that goes in. Or we look at the other side, which is that Poseidon, and we've seen a lot more Poseidon solo in recent times. So that's a pretty good pickup for the Headhunters, just taking away that strong solo character, but also taking a Sol as their second pick, and that's going to be an ADC Sol, I believe.
Yeah, Soul is very, I'll say, as a ADC main, very annoying to play against, very fun to play. Her too does quite a bit of damage with that collapse. But back over to the on her pick, Vivi did very well last week whenever she played on it. So I think that's kind of why they went towards that for a first pick. But Poseidon for your solo lane can't really go wrong. Great secure on that Kraken. And once he gets going, it's pretty hard for any warrior in the solo lane to match him. And as you see, we already banned out the Raijin and the Alpwatch for the other mage solo laners. So not pretty good pickup for Poseidon first overall.
Yes, and like an important thing to note about this Vibe Tribe draft is they do have a sub. They don't have Timbo twice this week. They do actually have a PBA or Sinilin as a sub. So I believe this is going to be a VV mid, not a VV ADC, and have PBA and ADC, which is the more role that PBA is known for. So this Anher is going to go to PBA, and we're going to see something else come out of VV. As we see two picks, the two tanks coming out, the Karen and the Guan Yu. Guan Yu is a bit of an unusual pick. We don't see him too often, especially for the solo lane, but the Karen is definitely a top tier support to go in. Has a lot of pressure. Tidal Wave does great in the team fights, and is actually going to punish the Poseidon a fair amount if he ever gets out of position.
And I will say that on her Charon lane, you can tell that this duo lane for the Vibe Tribe really wants to go for some pressure early on and kind of snowball on from there, play super aggressive. And Guan Yu, I will say, is an ages too late pick. I've seen him play it before. He's very good on it. I think that in this solo lane into the Poseidon, it will be pretty safe early on for sure. Moving forward, he does have that heal and all that, so not a bad pickup, especially if you know how to play it well, which Ages Too Late does.
Yeah, I mean the Nugget immunity from your Tyler Assault is definitely going to be useful going into the Kraken. It gives him a lot more survivability, along with the Cavalry Charge, gives you a lot of different options to punish the Poseidon, which is great overall for the team comp. But they are going to lock in their support, which is the Horus. I'm always a big Horus enjoyer. I've loved Horus for a while, especially in the jungle. But as a support character, just heavy CC combos really well with the Soul as an ADC, which allows you to just do so much damage off one fracture. You know, fracture Stellar Burst is going to be half hitting 75% damage just early game. When it's going to really be a battle of wills in this duo lane because both ADC and support are very strong and aggressive playstyles.
I will say Horus and Karen is one of my personal favorite matchups to watch. They're both aggressive. They're both just fun to watch, and the On Her Soul matchup is also good. I will say I feel like Soul is going to kind of scale better than the On Her. So later on, it might be a little tough for that On Her to keep the pressure and the aggressiveness going, but. You never know what you'll see, and I see we got a Yanis locked in on the side of Odin's Headhunters for the mid lane, which great mobility, a global ult. You can't really go wrong with that pick.
Yeah, I mean that's three magicals on the board, which is kind of what we see in the current meta. But taking away a lot of the other magicals that are currently strong for this mid pick, we do see the Morgan Le Fay, the Baba Yaga gets banned out. Ratatoska and Set get taken out on the other side, so Janus is a good logical conclusion towards this mid. But on the flip side, Vibe try and finish out their roster with a Kukulkan for Vivi and a Nisha in the jungle.
Yeah, the Kukulkan has a decent secure. You're not really going to be out securing the Poseidon with the Kukulkan, but he's got pretty easy to use. He's good on escaping, and he does a lot of damage once you get into the late game with those twisters. He's quite annoying to play against. We see a Chang'e responded to on the other side, and a Chang'e Neja jungle is never mind. They locked in the Fenrir. So a Fenrir Naja jungle, and that's going to be a pretty interesting matchup to see. Fenrir definitely super aggressive early on, and I'd like to see they responded aggression in the bot lane or in the bot lane, the duo lane
You be
with
playing too much League.
yeah, with some aggressiveness from the jungle on the Odin's Headhunter side. So I'm curious to see who wins this duo lane matchup early on.
I think that's going to be down to where the jungles start rotating over. Because as we see them fight for that shield buff, we can see the ultimate aggression come out. If anyone's pushing another one onto the side of the tower, you've got a lot of potential prowess, especially with a sash or a brutalize that's going to allow you to just come in and shred the enemy. It gives a lot of potential, especially with some of the CC combinations. But I do think the Nisha is a little bit troll going into their team. They have a lot of characters that have straight up immunity that can just stop the Windfire Wheels. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for Sleeper to get in there because he's pretty much the beads burner of his comp to allow everyone else to get in there. So there's going to need to be some good dive between him and Kaio. Otherwise, this Nisha pick might be a little bit sus going into the rest of the game. As well as the Coco Can, also a little bit of a question mark, just very high damage character, Tornado, the Spits, and Spirit of the Nine Winds. It all does a lot of damage, but he's not a very safe character. His only mobility is his speed boost. So yeah, he can cleanse the slows of stuff like Stellar Burst, but if he gets CC'd once and doesn't have Beat Aegis, he's just going to die. So Vivi's going to need to have some extremely good positioning going into this match, and I actually think the Headhunters do have a very solid draft going off of it, with all the combos of the CC and damage potential that they have.
Yeah, and if you look at the Headhunters combo, like you said, if you're the Kukulkan, you get CC'd once. You're playing a Horus, you're playing against a Poseidon who has that slow. You got a Giannis with the portals, a friend of yours jumps on you. I mean, if you get caught out, then it's pretty much game over for you in any world. They are going to have pretty big task trying to keep this Kukulkan alive, but you could see in the ban in the draft phase that Odin's Headhunters was really focused on getting rid of that mid pool for VV to choose from, maybe going off of the ADC, try and limit the mid pool since they are playing a different position than they normally do. Um, Going for that Giannis mid, great pick, seen a lot of use. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game. It's going to be pretty fun to watch these junglers match up.
So, as we go into this match, anything strike you as odd with these builds going forward? Because I see a couple of things that definitely could be improved, but they might be cooking up something that we don't know about just yet.
As far as with the builds, I see the difference in the solo lane. Obviously, you got a warrior versus the Poseidon with the vampiric shroud. Not too much that I see that is too different from what I've normally seen built. I do wonder with the gilded arrow on the souls for that late game, that damage, that crit, versus the leather cow for on her is going to give a little more attack speed, a little more objective shred. So I'm curious to see how that'll play out moving into the late game. But yeah, just overall excited.
So the big thing for me is this kind of mid matchup. We have a Kukulkan not going into Bucket Thoth, which is arguably the core item for a Kukulkan based off his mana passive. Instead, we see them going into the Desolation tree, so either going for like an early Divine because they have, a Soul Horus, or going for something a little bit more just off-brand. This is going to put Cook a little bit behind early on, but he's going for an earlier power spike. But not going Book, I think, is a really rough option, especially on a Kukulkan, because you want to play for the late game, which involves going those stacking items. So we're going to see a lot of good combinations come out from Sleepy and Kukulkan here to try and lock someone down and confirm that damage, and that's going to be where a lot of this mid 2v2 comes in.
And I think if you're on the Odin's Headhunter side, you're going to try and look for some early jumps onto this Kukulkan from your Fenrir. But as you can see, who's already winning the duo lane, yeah, the duo lane matchup is going to be that Odin's Headhunter side.
Yeah, and we already see Trucker applying the pressure very on with the soul, has the overheat passive stacked up pretty quickly, and is putting PBA under tower line pretty quickly. And I also want to point out, Tenchi picking up the meditation is a bit interesting pick. Definitely want something like a shell going in, as we do see him walk into the Horus, take a little bit of CC, but Sleepy does come in, get the shield buff, and is going to disengage pretty quickly. But Fenrir on the other side of the map, going to try and look for a rotation onto Kaio. So Kaio's going to have to play Tower Simulator, as Vivi's going to clear up as much as he can. I thought he was going to make that rotation over, but opts to go for the wave instead. Going for that farm game, can't blame him the slightest.
If you're the Fenrir, this is definitely something you want to do, is help your Poseidon out early.
Speaking of which,
yep.
A lot of patience coming out from Fenrir, and on the flip side though, Trucker getting the kill onto Sinilin as well. Both characters from Vibe Tribe stepping up with a little bit not enough resources and gets punished for it by the Headhunters, and they are taking heads early on in this match.
Yeah, for that on her early on, you definitely have to watch out for that soul. The soul damage is
unfortunate sash by Sleeper that just misses Poppin Nike, and Poppin Nike gets a way to get even more farm.
That early on gank may have put that Fenrir in the mood to just keep hunting for some kills, but
I don't think he wants the kills. I think he just wants to take as much farm as possible, take it away from Sleepy, and shut down that power spike that this Nishan's going to get with that Jotuns. Meanwhile, we see a bit of a scuffle coming out into this duo lane once again. Just both enemies want to keep fighting. Horus getting some good poke off onto PBA again, but loses a lot of his health in return, but keeps Strucker pretty much full. So this Soul's still going to be pushing buttons just to do as much damage as they look for an invade. But Tenchi going to pull the purple and try and take the tower as quickly as possible. But they're not done with it just yet. A good pillar stops the advance of the Horus. So Queen Perfumer gonna have to disengage, but Sleepy's here. Doesn't have an ultimate available. Good updraft, but sticking to him, that speed buff from the passive really helping. And Perfumer's taking a lot of damage. Sleepy can find a good ring toss coming in as the shield buff gets topped. We see the aggression coming out. The Bowman's coming in. The shell is popped. Good fracture, but doesn't find a way out. So danger coming in. Here comes Xenophonics with a great piece of damage, killing Sleepy outright. Now Karen's in the danger, using Popping Nike's Fenrir using Ragnarok chasing down. This should be the death, and that's a double kill for Xenophonics. And Ages Too Late also in the same vein takes a kill onto Solo. That is another 3 kills for, or that's another 2 kills for the Headhunters and Vibe Tribe's first kill on the board. All the tech stuff of making sure the pause goes through, but we are back at it again. As both teams kind of disengaged, just went to go back to get their farm, so not really much was missed on the cast itself. So no worries there for everyone else, but we start to see the gold advantage coming in for the Headhunters, taking up a 1.5k gold lead, which at 5 minutes definitely notable, but can they keep it going? That's going to be the question of the day. As we start to see the stacking items come online for Giannis, Fenrir's got the Jotuns online, so item ahead of Sleepy until Sleepy backs and pretty soon he has that golden hand. But we are seeing a Stone of Gaia come out first on Kaio. Beads popped for Vivi, and we did see the Brutalize come out, but Papa Nike does the right thing, cancels the ability, says, I don't want to take tower shots and punish that too much. So Vivi gets out a little bit free, but needs to play very safe going to fight. Horus ult coming out, looking for a rotation, but to where? Are we looking to try and get the Anher out? He drops down and gets a good shield on himself, and is looking for Sleepy. Sleepy misses the sash, but Papa Nike's looking for some damage in the backline. A good Winds, Spirit of the Winds tries to find a target, but doesn't find anyone. So Tenchi gets sacrificed to the Headhunters, and the rest of the Vibes are going to have to back away. So the Headhunters definitely coming out strong once again, and they could look for a Gold Fury as the Vibe Tribe go into the right jungle. Popping Nike taking some farm away, and has been spotted out by the 2. Here comes the Sash, finds one, and that is Popping Nike in the air. Windfire wheels, this could be the death of a dog. And a lot of damage comes out. Kaio comes over, takes that kill away. As we see an invade come out, Vibe Tribe take the purple buff away from the invade, but Perfumer's not done just yet. Fretcher onto PBA. PBA is taking a lot of damage, double updraft, but they're by themselves. His teammate has left him. Trucker is biding time. Good teleport away, comes in just in case, but PBA has the purple buff, and they're looking for a little bit more aggression. Tenchi could look for something. Still has the meditation available to them, but Perfumer's going to get active once again. Updraft finds 2 with the knockup. And they're trying to get a little bit more damage, but Trucker doesn't have the passive stacked just yet, but he's going to throw some autos just to dissuade the Tenchi from getting active even more. Meanwhile, Sleepy is in danger. He's got no mana to chase this. Ragnarok takes him down a notch. Sleepy tried to get the counter invade, but this doggo was not having it. Meanwhile, Kaio is getting chased down by the Poseidon. Fatty Bacon looking for a little bit of activity, but with no Ragnarok down, they kill this mounted man himself.
Yeah, this is kind of exactly the start that Odin's Headhunters was looking for. Lots of early aggression with that Fenrir. In the Horus, I guess the question before the game started was which duo lane was kind of going to push that aggression, push the agenda, and it's been Odin's Headhunters to this point. You know, lots of invades. The Horus is being a nuisance to everybody, not just the duo lane. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Headhunters so far in this game.
Yeah, and they've got a ridiculous amount of shred already. You know, you've got Fracture reducing some protections, but you've also got Soul with the Talkines online. So they're going to be absolutely bopping people when they come around. So they're going to start grouping up, especially I like to see Perfumer and Poppin' Night trying to work together more, as they could do a lot of damage coming in. But here we see Nietzsche get a good sash off, and that is Panic in the air, but dies with the Tornado. And that is a kill that the Vibe Tribe needed, as Horus trying to get some return damage onto Vivi, but Vivi is going to send his Tornado and say, if you want to fight me and take me down, you're going to have to take some damage in return. But Headhunters don't have that jungle around, so they can't make the counter rotation in a 2v2 situation, so Perfumer gets away pretty scot-free. I think Sleepy wanted to get a little bit more active there, but had no buttons available, or is scared of where Poppin' Nike is as he starts making this rotation in. Misses the green buff there, or just chooses to ignore it anyway, as we do see Karen and Coco can go over to try and take that away. So we're going to see a little bit of farm as Ages Too Late. It's going to put Fatty Bacon in the tower line with pretty full HP and full mana. That's going to feel bad for Poseidon before he gets this breastplate online. But Poppin' Nike going to get an invade in return. Gets found out by Sleepers. This could be a rotation. We see Ages Too Late looking, trying to go back and get his own blue buff. A lot of damage coming out, but here comes Sleepy. Ring toss comes in. They secure the blue buff, blue for blue. But here comes Fatty Bacon. A good Kraken comes out, finds 2. The knockup is huge. But in the air goes the dog. Poppin' Nike's taking a lot of damage. But here comes Panic along as well. portal comes in. Sleepy 1 HP dies to the hands of Poppin Nike as Poppin Nike did 1 HP himself. And now it's 4 versus 1. Can Kaio get away? He's not got his ultimate available, but this should be a death. Brutalize follows him around. Poppin Nike gets a double kill. And it's all in favor for the Headhunters as they can't find a kill onto anyone during that little scuffle.
Yeah, that was it looked really good at the start for the Vibe Tribe, and then just kind of went downhill very quickly. You lost your jump, and the rotation was great out of Odin's Headhunters, and they've just honestly looked like just a more aggressive team coming out with those early rotations. And I don't know how the Fenrir managed to stay alive and all that, but he did.
A combination of Horus healing and own survivability from popping the runes on 2 just gives you a fair bit of sustain just hitting those autos, doing enough of the lifesteal aspect. But also just good, awareness on which targets to pick out. As the second panic comes in, they swap the targets to take down those that are low. Sleepy gets caught out with no mana in the backline, which is going to be the issue with Nisha. Nisha is very mana hungry. Especially if you go Jotuns, you don't get any MP5, so he's going to be struggling a little bit when he starts taking a lot of these bigger fights. But speaking of Sleepy, we are looking for a bit of damage onto Queen Perfumer. Fractures and 3s away as the beacon is under duress right now, but Panic's just holding back in the tower line, so I think they want to give up this beacon when it spawns in a minute or so. I don't know why we're trying to fight over it right now, trying to force someone to back or come over, but here comes Poppin Nike. The doggo's around, but uses himself as a little leash. Sash comes out, Perfume is in the sky. Those wings aren't making you fly this time around. The dragon misses, unfortunately, on the landing point. Poppin Nike gets the kill into Vivi though regardless. Ragnarok comes out and is putting Tenshi away. There's 2 versus 1 on the support. Can Tenshi live? A good boat dash takes him away. The stun connects though, so Tenshi might be in danger. Gets a good silence or a good bit of damage off, gets himself the shield, but here comes Panic, comes in and Tenshi is in a rough spot. That's 3 members taking 1 down on Tenshi as Sol invades to the left, gets that purple buff, and that's going to be a Gold Fury call for the Headhunters, really utilizing that gold lead they have right now, and there's nothing that the Vibe Tribe can do to stop it.
And if you looked at their last week matchup, Vibe Tribe had this very same situation with the Fenrir. The Fenrir was getting fed really early, and they managed to turn that one around. Not really looking as promising this time around, but the team fights have been great from Odin's Headhunters. That Giannis is doing work. They're levels up in the duo lane on that Soul. 3 levels up to be exact. Not exactly what you were looking for out of the On Her in that duo lane.
This is where that, Anher top pick causes a little bit of duress for the Vibe Tribe's mentals going into this next game. If your top pick character isn't performing as you expect, it's going to be difficult for you to get back into the game. But giving Trucker a 3-level lead on a hyper-aggressive guard, along with characters like a Fenrir and a Queen Perfumer on this Horus, is going to be very difficult for them to actually step up and do the damage that Anher does. As we see more fights come out, we see Perfumer doing the damage come in. Ragnarok gets popped, trying to find the dragon, finds it eventually, and there's a lot of people coming in. Tenchi needs to save the dragon as much as possible, but Xenophonics takes them out. Vivi takes the damage and takes the fall for the team. The boatman lives on 1 HP as well, not ferrying his own soul. Headhunters going in with a horror sword. They're behind enemy lines. Tenchi gonna dash away, trying to find that way in. Tidal wave gets popped, finds the Horus, and the fight comes out. The Tenchi has fallen eventually. Sleepy's going to have to disengage, try and save the tower as much as he can, but he's against 3 people. Updraft doesn't find anyone just yet, but forces the beads out of Sleepy. That's a good cooldown to get for the Headhunters as they keep putting this pressure on everywhere, but using a lot of ultimates. And honestly, I love Horus, but there's a lot of people that play Horus support that don't utilize the ultimate. I'm loving how Perfumer is actually utilizing this rotational power just to give themselves a positional advantage. And the rest of the team, they're disengaging, they're choosing the right targets, and just really looking good for the Headhunters. But what do you think the Vibe Tribe need to do to get back into this match at this 6k deficit?
If you're the Vibe Tribe, I honestly am just... It's kind of just turned into the team comp. As you pointed out early on, the Neja was kind of a troll pick. The On Her first pick was easily counterable. This Kukulkan's very vulnerable to CC and knockups, which is plentiful on the other side. if I am Vibe Tribe, you kind of have to just sit back a little bit and try and farm up to catch
Ooh,
up to these level deaths.
Trucker's in danger right now. Great disperse and impale forces Trucker away from the invade. But I thought they would come out for a little bit more, but the rest of the headhunters are going to come in as well. Panic and Horace looking for this purple. They do take it, dashes away, gets the heal, but Trucker has no mana, so can't really aggress anymore. But there are 4 members of the Vibe Tribe around just in case they want to play more aggressive. Sleepy and Vivi are going to be sitting in the jungle a little bit. Poppin Nike looking for a target. Doesn't find Sleepy in time, so the Nisha gets that back off, but Vivi's going to have to... Here comes the blink. The stun connects. Vivi's in danger. Ragnarok pop, but it doesn't matter. The beats may be gone, but Panic takes the life. And that's an arguably more important cooldown, but Poppin Nike going to look for a little bit more, trying to find this and her. Updraft comes out, Fracture does a lot of damage, and PBA's in danger. Another stun comes in, Panic through space and time demolishes PBA. And it's 3 versus 1, and a tower. Can Tenchi keep himself alive? A great Fracture comes out again, hitting all these dashes. It's great to see on the Horus, chasing the boatman. Tenchi's in danger, looking to find a way out, but I don't think he can. There's a lot of damage coming out from Fenrir. Serrated on Lions, so they're just going to burn him down as quick as possible. But a good connection comes in, but here comes Trucker. Doesn't find the Macrostella burst, but he's still going to fall regardless. Tenchi wasting a lot of Headhunter's time, so tried to make as much of his life as he could. Knew he was going to die, so just waste as much time as possible. Meanwhile, the rest of the Vibe Tribe, Sleepy and Kaio, are going to really take out as much farm as they can on the right side of the map. So a good macro call to try and keep themselves back in, but this is a Goal Fury that is going to be going down to the Headhunters, unless if Vivi has anything to say about it, but Vivi does not even want to step up to try.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of just going to have to give it over and just try and get your farm up, like you said, on the right side. That's the only place where you're even, is going to be your solo lane.
PBA, that was a dangerous move to jump into unknown territory. Strucker's going to take that kill. That is unfortunate positioning from the Anher. Not what you want to lose your ADC just after getting the Goal Fury. Or just after losing the Goal Fury. Sleepy's going to still try and take a little bit more farm on the right side. But that is looking good for the Headhunters so far. Their game to lose.
Yeah, it's definitely their game to lose, and looking at this, Soul is going to be huge moving forward. We saw what the Giannis did for the Vibe Tribe. I think they're kind of feeling the effects of it being on the other side of this game, so they turn it into a Pyromancer here.
Vivi a little bit too late on the Spirit of 9 Winds there to try and out-secure the damage that the Headhunters do, but that's a Pyromancer going to them as well, as they start walking around this fire pit, maybe trying to look for a target. For example, this cheeky Guan Yu up on the tower line. Meanwhile, see another 1v1 coming out in the ADC side. Tower goes down, the power of Assault, and that is a cheeky kill for Trucker, taking out PBA, but Trucker may be in danger now to Sleepy and Tenchi. Trying to find a way back to the team, and the rotation comes in. A great beat and an Aegis. The Separate keeps him alive a little longer, but that Tornado, I think, kills them. No, he lives on 1 HP. Vivi's mad about that one. Sleepy getting out as well. A great Aegis stops the unstable Vortex damage onto Vivi, but Vivi's still trying to stay alive as much as he can. Finds the Tornado. Great bit of a slow from Tenchi, but Vivi gets clipped by the second ball. And that is another kill for Panic, 6-1 on both the mid and the jungle. As Poppin Nike isn't done just yet, goes for the Ragnarok before something else, and I think that's a death for the doggo. Never mind! What great peel for Perfuma, but Perfuma has to give themselves away, or baiting enough time to get out. PBA does not want to take that fight just yet, but Sleepy's here, finds a great ring toss, does a lot of damage, takes out one. Can he find another? Trying to find a second kill. That's a double kill, and PBA takes out the third. That is just what the Vibe Tribe needed. Punishes the over-aggression from the Headhunters, and now they can get some of their own farm on the map. Try and lessen that difference.
Yeah, that's a great fight from the Vibe Tribe to frankly stop the bleeding a little bit, put a band-aid over it. You know, maybe give themselves just a chance to farm up, like you said. You couldn't get the soul, which is kind of the biggest problem, but you know, you're taking three kills. That's a good consolation. You finally got one under your on her, so you're very happy with that if you're Vibe Tribe, and if you're Odin Hunters, maybe you know, a little ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, Trucker managed to stay alive there and has a 6-kill bounty on his name, so he's definitely feeling good about not dying there. And then, you know, This Horus put in God's work to peel for Pop and Nike, who went way too deep. But obviously, you know, Fenrir having 2 jumps allows him to get over the wall, keep himself alive. But Perfume is looking for a bit of action coming into this lane, looking for some damage onto Sleepy. Fracture updraft combo. Here comes the Whirlpool, slowing them down. Through space and time, connects on the Nisha, but leaves him at 1 HP. Sleepy is already out of that fight, even if he's not dead. But Kaio is going to be next up with against Fatty Bacon, but his panic as well. Unstable Vortex doing a little bit of damage to Kaio. He has that magical defense online, but they're going to waste the bomb on that tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, Fenrir looking for Tenshi under the tower. Ragnarok pops, trying to confirm that kill. Gets the kill, but it's going to take a lot of damage in return. Age is too late, and Vivi taking that kill and forcing the Headhunters to back away. Losing their jungle there means they need to be a little bit safer, especially with how much pressure they have, because they could lose Fire Giant after 1 misplay.
Yeah, I think if you are popping Nike on this Fenrir, you do, you know, I'm all for playing aggressive and tower diving, but you know, you're trading a jungler for a support there with an objective like Fire Giant up there, giving Vibe Tribe a chance while you're down. But he's been playing a really good game, so I'm not gonna be too harsh on him.
Yep, and that is the Headhunters looking at this Gold Fury. This is just a normal Gold Fury, not a special one of any kind, but now we're just seeing the Vibe Tribe start to lose more and more farm as it goes on, and the Headhunters starts deathballing around. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to get back into this game, but they have some good potential for anti-sieges when it comes to the fights. But depending on Panic's positioning on this Janus, they could get a free pick onto someone. You know, you have a Nisha and Kukulkan combination. If you're able to confirm that damage, a dash comes out from Queen Perfumer, and it's going to get stashed out. The ring toss connects using the Pyromancer as the bounce target, but no follow-up damage onto Perfumer as the rest of the team goes in. Fatty Bacon here on Poseidon can take out that ward, and the Doggo Fenrir on the right side looking for a way in as the fights come out. A great silence to stop that dash, and Perfumer's in danger. No mana, no health, but he's going to get it away. Kaio opt to not chase that one away just yet, and Perfumer having to back. That's a 4v5 situation for the Vibe Tribe. But Fenrir looking for damage, and Sleepy sends him into the air. This should be a kill onto the Doggo, and that is a free connect. Papa Nike gets a little bit too aggressive, and that's the jungle down, but the Headhunters do secure the Pyromancer for his efforts. So nothing ventured, nothing gained for this team, but they are punishing 20 kills or 19 kills to 8. But Vibe Tribe, they are doing the right thing, taking the smaller fights and winning the smaller fights, but losing the overall macro game. So Vibe Tribe still have a chance. They still have a lot of options to get back into this game, especially with Fire Giant being an option. Vivi by themselves gets caught out by the Horus. As Tenji making that rotation in, they could turn to fight. This is a 3v1, and now Perfumers by themselves. Can they find a way to get back to the team in time? It's bobbing and weaving, trying to get in. Poseidon's here, uses the dash away, but Perfumer's still going to take a lot of damage. He's going to disengage. Hopefully, doesn't want to go back in again, but has the mana to do so. So now it's up to Sleepy.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the difference between the Headhunters and the Vibe Tribe. Their Headhunters are just diving in. Horus is going in every chance Queen Perfuma gets just to dive in. That Fenrir is going in at every chance. He just went into a 1v4 just because while Aegis had the Horus low, decided to pull back, which is probably the smarter decision. But man, the Headhunters are just rolling right now, and you can tell they're playing with extreme confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it just on how Queen Perfume is positioning, taking all the fights they can, and Tenshi, again, going in by himself, has a few members around behind, but Perfumer, once again, in danger. Tornado, up in the sky they go, Windfire Wheels, but this time someone else is around. A Kraken comes in, but Perfumer still alive, uses their way in. Panic as it comes to Vivi, using space and time, and again, it's the Headhunters, the game to lose. Tidal Wave comes out, trying to find a target, but that's Trugger getting the kill into Tenshi. And now it's everyone versus Kaio. Kaio doesn't survive the time. Horus ulting. I don't know if he's looking for a way in. Meanwhile, PBA in danger. Nike gonna go for kill. Up, down on the disperse. Doesn't find the impale damage. PBA's in danger. Desert Fury comes in. Nike, you dropped the ball, my gamer. PBA lives with a little bit of HP left. Nike having to get sent back, but the Headhunters get the Fire Giant in return. And Sleepy Force trying to secure it. in return. But Headhunters, it is still up to them right now. But having PBA still alive means you have a little bit of base defense. But as those Titans are pushing up the right lane, so they have a little bit of time to work with.
Yeah, I think it's huge that Papa Nike was able to stay alive there as his team got the fire giant. Even though he should have killed, but you know that's okay. Everyone misses a ult every once in a while. But yeah, it's huge he stayed alive and was able to get that buff on him as they take the Phoenix.
Yeah, they're pretty much free Phoenix. You don't have a lot of people available as the Vibe Tribe start to respawn, but the Headhunter's going to walk in, take that away with a bomb, and they're going to disengage pretty quickly, going to disengage over towards these Titans and take the farm on the way. Vibe Tribe still have a few different options available to them. They could still get a lot of good potential fights, but one thing I have noticed is that Kaio's not able to use his ult along with anyone else. A lot of the Vibe Tribe's damage in these team fights has been Sleepy and BV, which is kind of what we expected from the jungle mid combinations, but if Kaio's not able to go in and get that stun cavalry charge, Papa Nike's not going to be able to find a target in those late games. So this could be a big turning point for the Vibe Tribe as they opt to do a bit of a soft defense in this tier 2 as this Titan walks in. So they need to decide between the Titan or the tower. And they might have to use everything in the careful. Tidal Wave coming out, finds 3, but just no follow coming in. Sleepy goes in, but isn't punished in return. Here comes Kaio, the dash comes out, Kraken, Fatty Bacon finds that kill to Sleepy. Sleepy by himself, getting that kill, and everyone else forcing to disperse, but Perfume is not done just yet. Frenzy pop to stop the Horus and to burn the Titan down as much as possible as the rest of the Headhunters come in. Through space and time, Pop finds damage, but Vivi finds Trucker. That's Trucker's first death. Perfumer finds Vivi though, as the damage is coming out. Tenchi and PBA get back into the fountain, but this should be a death for the Phoenix. That's 2 Phoenixes down as minions start walking into this Titan room. A lot of HP bars are low on the Headhunters, but Hopaneki Fields finds PBA. It's up to Tenchi to find a kill onto the Headhunters. There's still 3 people so low HP, but this Titan's going down and down. And they're opting to try and kill Tenchi instead, but that's the Titan down and out. Tenchi couldn't find one of those game-ending kills. The Headhunters, one good team fight, runs down the right lane and takes game 1.
Great job by the Headhunters. That's all I can say. We like their draft better, and ultimately their combination and their team fighting just the win.
Yes, but it's not to say that Vibe Tribe can come back. They still have a lot of options going into the next game. And, we'll take a short break as we, as on the cast, we want to give a small break for ourselves. But we'll be back with the game 2. But this could be a good turning point for the Vibe Tribe to think, okay, what do we need to take away? So we'll be back very shortly with the next game in this set. Welcome back, everybody, to Frank's Retirement Home Kane Division match. We're watching the Odin's Headhunters versus Vibe Tribe. It's currently a 1-0 to the Headhunters, but this doesn't mean that Vibe Tribe is out of the count just yet. They've got a few different options as they go into this game, as they take position 1 in the picks and bans once again. My name is Sparkdal. I'm joined by T-Pity1 as my co-caster, and we have Wolfie on the sticks. So we're in for a treat for this second match of this set. What do you think the Vibe Tribe need to do to really put a dent into what the Headhunters were doing in this second match?
I think that honestly, the Horus was a big problem in the last one, and Queen Perfuma was just running down, and you could see how comfortable she was on that, how good she was, and they just put that pressure on with that Horus pick the entire game. She was rotating out of her mind. That ult gives her a lot of pressure, as well as the Giannis portals in the middle gave him a lot of mobility. So the rotations from Odin's Headhunters were very good throughout the entire game, and Vibe Tribe just wasn't really able to respond to that.
Yes, but we are going to see the first change in the bans now. We are going to see a Poseidon coming out, stopping Fatty Bacon from running that in the solo lane once again. But this Horus will still be available unless the Headhunters want to ban that one away. But other than that, we also see the Soul getting taken away. Taking that pressure away from Trucker is going to cause a bit of a change up in these builds, but this gives a few different options available. Ganesh is going to be a option. Chernobog is going to be an option as we see the Chernobog get locked in. And this could be a good starting point for the Vibe Tribe draft to have a more controlled ADC and has great in the 1v1 situations, but come to late game, just doesn't offer what a Chernobog does with the ultimate. But in return, the Queen Perfume are going to take up that Ganesh. So both of those two banned characters gets picked up pretty much immediately.
Yeah, they were banned out in game one for a reason, and you see, as soon as they weren't, they were the top two picks locked in. Chernobog's great for that global pressure. You can split push and still be a part of those team fights. And we already discussed Ganesha in the first draft. He's just easy to use. The silence is great. He'll knock you up, silence you, and by then, you're already shredded to half health or even worse than that. He's just easy character, great to use.
And we're seeing a Morgan the Fey as well. Whether this goes solo or mid, I'm not entirely sure. I believe this is the solo Morgan the Fey from Fatty Bacon. We saw him play Poseidon the first time around, so it's a logical progression to go from one mage solo into another. But this could be a mid for all we know. This could be one of Panic's pocket picks, but he could go back to a Yanis. He did play incredibly well on the Yanis, so that wouldn't surprise me slightest either. But with a Morgan the Fey Ganesh, you've always got a lot of strong pressure and damage going into those team fights, but the Ganesh definitely holds a different position of power than the Horus. So we're not going to see a Horus this time around. Perfume is not locking the Birdman in. So we're going to see a bit of a different playstyle come up with the Headhunters, I think, this time around.
Yeah, a bit slower. I would be surprised if the Morgan was in the mid. If I'm Zeno, I would like to see myself on that Yanis again. You saw the work that it did last game, and in every single set that I've seen so far in this league, the Giannis has done some incredible work. Lots of damage, lots of mobility. But I'm excited to see what Vibe Tribe has cooked up for the response to this Ganesh and Morgan.
Mm.
I would think that I'd like to see Aegis on a warrior again in the solo lane. You saw him kind of dominate on that against the mage until the very late game. But and then hopefully, oh, there's Jean Kui.
I don't think that's a solo. I don't think that's a solo pick, another mid pick. Shang Kui finally making his way back into the Smite game. We see a big break away, not being able to play Zhong just with other mages being stronger. But the Zhong has a lot of good pressure and damage, gets a lot of mitigations from his passive, and it's going to have a lot of good pressure into the Morgan the Face. Not a bad pickup at all. But on the flip side, we are seeing a Nemesis being picked up. What are your thoughts on the Nem?
I love the Nem. She was one of the first gods that I learned how to play. Very fun to use, very very quick. Her ultimate lets her do a lot of damage, and the double dash keeps her pretty safe. She is kind of light on the health side, pretty quick to die, but I like the Nem overall. It's better than the Neja pick. So
But the question is, as a Nem enjoyer, are you an attack speed Nem enjoyer or an ability based Nem enjoyer?
I dabble in both. I lean more towards the attack speed, though.
See, I'm more of the opposite. I like to go the ability-based builds because I'm not great with auto-attack characters. So Nem having that kind of hybrid means that Sleepy's got a lot of options going into this match, depending on what he wants to go for. If he wants more chase potential, we could see him go into the more attack speed build, or if he wants to go into just the deletion and try and shut down someone as quickly as possible, especially with Panic on this Yanis again, we could see the ability-based build come out. But in the bans, we do have a few different changes, Vibe Tribe are going to opt to take away Pop and Nike's Fenrir. That is a great counter into what they've drafted so far, so I'm not surprised that is. And also taking out Rat's one of the better jungles in the current standard. But on the side of Odin's Headhunters, they take away the Fafnir for Tenshi. Tenshi could just play Karen again. This is an option for him. It's still available. But also taking away the Baba for the mid.
Yeah, I think that if you're on the Odin's Headhunter side, you kind of had to choose what to prioritize because if you didn't take that Giannis there and took a jungler instead or a carry, you knew that he was going to get banned on that second phase. They decided that Pop and Nike can play more at a high level than they would prefer the Genis over the jungler.
Oh, we are seeing a bit of a shake-up, though. We're seeing Trucker lock into the Ram, not going for a Magical ADC as that Soul was taken away from him. But Rama has the same kind of aggression that Soul has, just has to play a little bit safer, can get put out of position a little bit faster. And we're seeing a good combination of that with the Sobek being locked in for the Vibe Tribe. But we also have the mid pick, and this is a Thoth, a change up from the Kukulkan for Vivi. This is going to be an interesting thing because Thoth does a lot of damage as an artillery mage, and if you're positioning correctly, especially behind your two tanks, you're going to be able to really out pressure people like Yanis, Ram, and Morgan Le Fay. So this could be a great pickle for the Vibe Tribe, and so far I'm really enjoying their draft a lot more than the previous game.
No, yeah, 100%. The Thoth is a damage machine. He will just throw up his wall and just shoot you from the back while you're dealing with the tanks. But I'm excited to see Trucker on this Rama pick. It's a pick that I've seen him play quite a bit. He's very good on it, and so far on the Vibe Tribe side, it's a much better draft than the first time around. They've got a true, I feel like, number 1 pick in Chernabog. You've got Thoth, who is frankly a bit better than the Kukulkan. A Sobek a bit untraditional, but that pluck will be pretty deadly with that Chernabog stun. And it's a Jean Kui. It's just a
And
Jean
then
Kui. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to say.
just a Jungui, just a fat man in the solo lane. But to finish off the Headhunters draft, we are going to see that Bakasura get picked up for Pop and Nike. There's going to be a bit of a change up as well. You go from Fenrir, who's a lot of ability damage, to a very attack-oriented character on the Taco Sora skin. So we have a lot of pressure coming out from the Headhunters again, but whether they're able to utilize as much as they did in the previous game is going to be a bit of a question mark. But Vibe Tribe looks like they are a bit more confident going into this game too. Their mentals aren't ruptured just yet. So see how this game 2 goes. But with these drafts alone, who do you think has the edge?
With the drafts, I would kind of lean. It's very even in my opinion. I would kind of lean towards Odin's Headhunters just because they got that Giannis back from the first game. We saw how dominant he was. The Gannett
going to be great feeling for the Vibe Tribe to actually have a way into this match, not losing off the start immediately. Actually having the gold lead, you know, fight too much, knowing that Gold Fury is at stake, but Vivi doing a lot of damage with Holographic Assault. Sobek coming in, finds a good knockup, but out of the game. Just like that, and we barely saw it. But Vibe Tribe still have the advantage. They're going to look for this Pyromancer instead, and they're not soloing it this time.